Immigration, as everybody knows, is one of the top issues for voters heading into the 2024 election. According to Gallup, it ranked as the biggest problem facing our country for 3 straight months this year, the longest stretch in more than 2 decades. And with Congress deadlocked on the issue, doing absolutely nothing, and record numbers of illegal crossings during Biden's tenure, the question is, what took the president so long to take this executive action? Well, who better to ask than my next guests? Marc Caputo, national political reporter for the Bulwark, and Art Del Cueto is the vice president of the National Border Patrol Council. Great to have you both here. Art, let me start with you. What does the executive order issued today actually do, and will it stop the flow of illegal migrants?
Well, it will not stop the flow. It's gonna lower the numbers, but let me explain to you why there's still issues here. There's certain things that people aren't talking about. I've been out here, for decades, and I can tell you where the problem is going to be. The cartels, they're the ones that run the southern border. They're the ones that dictate where people cross, how they cross, and everything like that. So what they're going to do now, okay, because it's obvious, they're going to make sure that they themselves keep track of the numbers of how many people are crossing per day. They're going to get the people that they want to cross per day to cross. They're still going to realize that something like this is going to, lock the hands of the agents having to process. So they'll focus on one sector, and then they'll continue to flood many areas of the border with the gotaways. And that's, unfortunately, that's the truth. It's a little bit too little, too late. They've ignored the problem for 3.5 years. Now they're saying there's an issue, obviously because it's an election year. But something like this, they need to understand, look, the cartels are very smart. They know how to adapt. They're going to adapt when it comes to something like this. And it's just, again, too little, too late. And it's unfortunate that, the people that are going to pay the price is the American public, but also the individuals that are coming across, because now they're going to have to go through more rigorous terrain, turning themselves over to the smuggling organizations themselves.
Marc, whether he means to or not, Art is echoing just now a lot of what some GOP senators were saying when they called a news conference this morning, ripping Biden, calling the order, quote, cynical. They called it political theater, asked also why he didn't do it sooner. And it's a valid question. Why didn't he sign this executive order before now?
Well, he didn't want to, and he wanted Congress to have a role in it. And then obviously the people who are saying it's cynical are pretty darn cynical themselves. There's a lot of blame to go around. I think on the policy side, Art hit on the reality, which is that this is a business of shipping people over. And as long as those business men or women whose job is to smuggle humans have a way to persuade people to come over, they'll continue to do it. And so maybe Biden's order will have some effect by dissuading some from coming. It really depends on sort of how it's marketed to people who want to come over. But, beyond the marketing, there's just kind of a human need to improve people's lives, and so they'll continue to come. Ultimately, the question we have, which I can't answer, is, yes, the president was late. Yes, the president has gone back on what he said. Yes, Republicans also tanked a deal. But will the president be rewarded for getting caught trying? Will he be punished for doing too little, too late? Or will the American people just not pay attention at all? And I don't think we know.
Art, Republicans in the Senate twice killed the border deal that your organization endorsed at the urging of Trump, who told them to kill it. And those same Republicans said, President Biden can just take action through an executive order. That's exactly what he did today. And then they came out and criticized it.
Right, because I think when you get to that point where, look, the bill was something that we looked at, that we believed would have helped somewhat what was happening. But now you put it to the hands of the president where he has the executive order. And if you're going to come back with the executive order and do what the bill did anyway, instead of actually enforcing your executive power and saying, look, we're going to detain everybody coming across, that's where the difference is. Look, the president had the power to actually fix the problem altogether, not just, put this Band-Aid on it. I think, this executive order just puts the Band-Aid, instead of saying everyone coming across now has to prove it and everyone will be detained, zero catch and release. That's not what this executive order does, first and foremost. And what we're not addressing, and we should, is this entire issue was started by this administration. Day one that this administration took office is when we saw the numbers. And I know politicians and other analysts will say one thing or another, but I can tell you firsthand knowledge, I've been out here for decades. I saw firsthand what mess has been created.
Right. Well, thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.